Barcelona. Let me fly through this with you because I have a lot to say. Three big talking points since I've last talked to you boys about Barcelona. First being, we didn't get, I don't know how you say his first name, Matthias de Ligt, centre back from Ajax. We didn't get him. He went to Juve. We've lost out there, and I still think we need a strong centre back. He played his first game actually for Juve against Tottenham Hotspurs, which they lost, and he scored an own goal. So yeah, that's what you get for not joining Barcelona. But we didn't get him, and I still think that we need to sign a strong centre back. I mean, obviously I have players in mind, but it's not players that we're gonna get. Like, they're not buyable. Like, I would snap at Virgil van Dijk. I mean, who wouldn't? The guy's one of the best centre backs. He's proven himself to be one of the best in the world. But we're not gonna get him. And there's a couple of others, but we're probably not gonna get them either. So I still think we need a strong centre back, and I mean, Alderweireld is going for cheap. I mean, it would be experience. He would have a couple of years in him. It would be a strong centre back, a quality signing. I think it's 25 million you can get him for. 25 million. Go out and buy an Alderweireld. It would be a quality addition. If we get Alderweireld along with the squad that we got right now, and I get on to the squad that we have right now, I would actually feel confident. Looking at other teams' squads and what they've done in the summer so far, I would actually sit there and think, you know what? We actually do have a good chance of winning the Champions League this season. We actually do. And whereas individually, player by player, we might not have the best squad in the whole world, Messi does make that difference. Like, Messi does give us like an extra man or two over every other team in the world. Maybe bar Juve because they got Ronaldo, but them two players, they are like an extra player or two at sometimes, depending on the form that they are on the day. They are an extra player. So with the squad that we have, if we were to get Alderweireld at the back, and we cement Semedo as first choice right back, and obviously Jordi Alba as left back, we got a good chance of winning the Champions League. We actually got a good chance of winning the Champions League. I would actually think that our squad would be better than Liverpool. Like last year's Liverpool's team, their starting 11 was actually better than our starting 11. It was their starting 11. But with the signings we've made now, and if we were to get Alderweireld, 100%. And Liverpool are the reigning champions of the Champions League, and that's why I'm comparing them to Liverpool, because they are the Champions League winners. They won the Champions League last year, and that's the team that they won it with. And our team right now, like I said, if we were to get Alderweireld, 100% our team is better than Liverpool's. Right now, without Alderweireld, without him, it's tough because like the defense is so shaky, it's so bad. It's not good. But Alderweireld, like we've seen what one signing can make. Like Liverpool, Van Dijk transformed that team. Like Liverpool always score goals. Like we say, oh, it's a team effort. They're gelling as a team. Trent's doing his bit. Robertson's doing his bit. Salah, Mane. But them players were doing their bit before Van Dijk came. I'm talking about Salah, Mane, Firmino, and the players in the centre of the park. Wijnaldum and Milner, he was on penalty duties and utility man. Them players were doing their bit before Van Dijk came. But Van Dijk comes in and it transforms, shored up the back. And I think Alderweireld could do the exact same. He have the same benefit for Barcelona that Van Dijk did for Liverpool. And I think with that, our team will be better than Liverpool's. With all the signings that we've made, with Messi there, and us signing Greizmann and De Jong in the middle of the park, and our team would be better than Liverpool's. And I would feel confident. Not confident, but I'll be resting easy that I can be like, I have faith in these boys to go out and win the Champions League. And if we do have a 3-4-0 lead, how we did against Liverpool, how we did against Roma, I wouldn't feel nervous and say, you know what, we could bottle this. If they get at us, we'll be nervous and we could lose the game. Like, I wouldn't have that kind of airy feeling in me. So I think signing Toby, because we didn't get Ligt, is like a must. Or not even Toby, but like I said, a strong centre back. We need a strong centre back, a commanding centre back with experience, knows what they're doing, to see us through games. Those games that we're not playing too well, 1-0 or 2-1 up, and just see out the game. We need a defender that can do that, because PK ain't it. PK ain't it, and he's our senior centre back, and PK ain't it. Moving on, like I said, 3 big talking points since we last chatted. Second big talking point, well, first was we didn't get Ligt. Second is the signing of Greizmann. Now, we signed him for 108 million. That's what it is. Like I said, I wasn't a fan of Greizmann. I have never been a fan of Greizmann. I've never thought that he was a world-class player, just a top-quality player. I don't think, for me, he's ever broken the world-class barrier. I don't know, he's done great things. He's done great things for Atletico Madrid. He's won the Liga with them. He's won the World Cup. He's won the UEFA. What's it called? It's gone out of my head, man. The UEFA Cup. He's won that with them. Played well in Champions Leagues. They've made Champions League finals. So he's done a lot of great stuff for them. Scored a lot of goals. Scored some great goals. Same for France. Been their top goal scorer in competitions. Was a top goal scorer in the Euros that they lost. Like I said, won the World Cup with them. Played well with Mbappe when they won that World Cup. But I've just never felt he's been a world-class player. I just felt like he's a player who is a hard worker. And Barcelona's never really had hard workers in there. Apart from way back in the day, maybe, where we had players like Belaise and Puyol. But we haven't really had, you know, your Roy Keane and your Patrick Vieira stuck in there, hard workers, people that run up and down, your Kantes that run all day. And I guess what Greizmann is a run all day type of player. Like, he's a hard worker. You know, he's got some he's technically gifted and he's a good player. He's a quality player, but I just don't think he's a world-class player. And I just always think that Barcelona should always be signing world-class players or world-class talent. Players that have the ability to be world-class. And I just think that Greizmann at what is he, 27, 28? At that age, you have to be world-class or an absolute elite player, signing off that a player of that age. And I just don't think that he is. And I think only time will tell if it's the right signing. For me, I've only ever said no to 2 players Barcelona signing, and one was Coutinho, and we've all seen how that's worked out, and people want him out, and people saying that he's leaving, or Barcelona trying to get him out for exchanging for other players, or exchanging for Pogba, exchanging for Neymar, rare. So he hasn't come and he hasn't done amazing for Barcelona. So like I said, only time will tell. And I hope that his time at Barcelona is fantastic. I hope he does wonderful things, because I know he's our player. I'm not just gonna dig him out because, you know, he's signing. I think, oh no, this is a wrong signing. Boo 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 boo. Every time he touches the ball, boo boo boo. I'm not gonna be that kind of guy. I'm not that guy. I'll back whoever we sign. But obviously, I have a preference. Before we signed him, I said no. But now that he's there, I'm gonna have to say yes. I'm gonna have to back him all the way. But the biggest talking point around him is this whole transfer dilemma. Now, I'm not sure what's going on here, but apparently Atletico won 180 million. We signed him for 108. We've given him 108. He's played for us. He played in the game against Chelsea. And we paid 108. And they're saying they want 180. And now what they've done is they've gone to the La Liga, was it officials? They've gone to the basically gone to the Liga and said, we want you to block Greizmann's registration to Barcelona. And I think what that means is, so when you sign players or whatever, you come to submit your 25-man squad for the season, and you've got your list of 25 names on there. They're saying block Greizmann's registration to that 25-man squad because he's been signed illegitimately. I have a problem with this, and the problem isn't with Barcelona. The problem is with Atletico, and I think that they're being nasty. I think they're being malicious, and I think they're being quite tactical. And quite frankly, I don't like it. And I thought highly of Atletico. Now, if this is true, this is speculation, right? This is speculation. This is what I'm thinking in my head. This is what I'm thinking. But if it's true, my opinion of Atletico, which was very high, I thought they were a club that were managed well, a club where their board back their manager, they back their players. They're a club that I believe in. I think that they do well. Their ethos are good. Up until I heard about this, and I just thought that they were a club that went about their business very, very well, and very, very competitive, and they're a very good club. And my opinion of them will have gone down massively because of this. Because hear me out. Now, they're trying to block a man's registration. Not even block the transfer because the transfer's gone through. Like, if you knew Greizmann was signing, you would surely try and block the transfer because something ain't right. But you didn't. The transfer went through, and now you want to block his registration. Now, apparently, I think it is Greizmann's release clause is 180 million, and I think after a certain point, I think maybe the end of July, like 1st of August or whatever, in his contract, it was due to go down to 108 million, right? So it's at 180, gone down to 108. But Barcelona have signed him before his release clause has gone down to 108. Now, I believe this is what it is. So, we've signed him now. So-called apparently activated his release clause, but his release clause should be 180. Whatever. Cool. We actually made an initial bid, because we made an initial bid of 120 million, but it was rejected because too much of it was in installments and they wanted the money up front. So they rejected 120, but bearing in mind his release cost is 180. So we bidded 120, most of it was installments. It got rejected. Now, we came back in 108 million, and now I don't know what's gone on. Now, if it's not his release clause, Atletico don't have to accept the bid. They can outright reject the bid. But somewhere down the line, the bid's been accepted for 108. Now it's up front, I'm aware of, and he's agreed a contract. He's now passed the medical. He's signed. He's played a game for them, pre-season game, and now they're complaining. Now, if you wanted 180, you would have asked for 180, but you've accepted the bid. Like, the bid can't get accepted for you unless they've actually legitimately activated his release clause. But if they hadn't, then you don't have to accept. Now, what I believe has happened is they've rejected the initial bid of 120 because too much was it is in installments. They've spent heavy so far this summer. Cool, I understand you want the money up front. You need to recuperate some of the funds that you spent in, because they bought a load of players, spent a lot in anticipation that Greizmann was going to Barcelona. They knew it was going to happen, so they spent a lot of money. So obviously they want the money up front. Cool, I understand that. I'm fine with that. So they've rejected the initial bid of 120. They've accepted 108 all up front. But it's not his so-called 180 million release clause. But what I believe is, now, if you think about it, say his release clause was going to change in 2 weeks to 108. Barcelona have come with £108 million and said, okay, here you go. Now, if they reject that bid, Barcelona only have to wait a couple of weeks to come back in again with a second bid of 108 million, and that bid gets accepted, and Greizmann signs anyway because it's his release clause. So rather than long it out, because Greizmann wasn't apparently turning up to training or he was refusing or whatever, and they were going to fine him 2 weeks' wages or whatever. So rather than have all that nonsense going in your club, just get him out, accept the 108 and move on. Cool, that's what you were doing it. But I think what they've done is they've accepted the 108, trying to disguise it as some sort of skullduggery. He's signed and then come out and said, but you signed him before his release clause has gone down to 108. I mean, yeah, to 108. His release clause was 180. We want 180. This should be blocked. We want 180. Give us our money. La Liga, block his registration. That is not. If that is actually nasty. That's disgusting. Because if Barca knew this was going to happen, all they would have done is just waited, right? Like, they've given you 108, and they know that, well, if you reject this, we're just going to come back when the release clause is 108, and then just bid again and sign him. It's not a problem. But you've accepted it because you know you're only going to get 108. So they've done this thinking maybe we can get an extra 72 million by pulling these tactics. And I think that's absolutely despicable. But like I said, that's what I think. That's my opinion. It may not be true. Only time will tell when the full, all the truths come out and the stories come out. But I think that's absolutely disgusting. But we've got our man, and I'll probably do a separate video about our current squad. Yeah, I will do a separate video about our current squad. But the last big news is Neymar. Neymar doesn't want to be at PSG anymore. He wants to go. He wants to leave this summer. He wants to leave right now. So the sooner the better for him. Real Madrid has spent the bulk of their transfer kitty. I don't think Real Madrid is going to be getting him. No one else can really afford him. Juve spent most of their money. Man City spent a lot of money. They bought Rodri, etc. Angelino. Man United focus on getting Maguire for like 80 million or whatever the hell it is they're trying to pay for. Barcelona is his only option really, and that's only because apparently the story is we've offered 2 players, which is Coutinho, Dembele, and some money, and I think it was about 30 to 50 million. I mean, for what we paid for them two, it's about 285 million plus 50, so that's about 330 million pound deal for Neymar. Obviously we could afford his wages, because obviously you take off Coutinho and Dembele's wages, give them to Neymar. Boom, Neymar comes in. Do I really want him? Not really. I really do believe that Neymar's coming to the end of his career. Like, he's a Brazilian. This is what Brazilians do. He's coming to that stage of his career where he's been riddled with injuries. World Cups, he's been injured. Back ends of Champions League seasons, he's been injured. Like, for instance, last season for PSG, missed out against the tie against Man United. They ended up getting dumped. And Man United were in horrific form, and no way they should have been going out to Man United. But Neymar weren't available there. Missed pretty much all of, from then on, from January, February onwards. He was missing for the rest of the season through injury. That's not the first time that's happened for him at PSG. Riddled with injuries, and he can't seem to stay fit. He's always complaining at PSG. I mean, he's coming to the end. It's just. I wish Barcelona could see this. Like, I know what he did for you in the first stint, but you gotta move on. There's other players out there. Like, focus on Mbappe instead. Like, I really wish they wouldn't go in for Neymar. But apparently they also put in a list of like 6 to 8 players or whatever that they could choose from to trade for. Probably Suarez is on that list, because obviously we signed Greizmann. Rakitic is probably on that list. Busquets is probably on that list. There's probably a host of players on that list. That they can choose from to get their man. But if they do get him, like I said, I will back him, because I'm not that type to say no. And for what he did for us the first time round, you can't do anything but back him. You got to have faith in him. He's played there before. He's played with Messi and Suarez before. He would have the addition of Greizmann to help him out too. So If it does happen, I'll back him, but I'd prefer if we didn't, and I'll talk about that, the reasons why, when I talk about our current squad, what it is now. But that's the major stuff that's happened with us so far. It's not over yet. It's some long way to go in the summer for European clubs, other than the Premier League clubs who's got a few weeks left because they finish quite soon, so they better hurry up. Is that pretty much everything? I mean, it is. Am I happy with our dealings so far? I am. I'm happy. I'm more than satisfied. I'm happy with our dealings so far. As long as it just doesn't end here. As long as it doesn't end here. So far, what we've done.